Have you ever looked at your bank balance and thought, wait a minute, I'm not broke, but I definitely don't feel rich either? Most people think wealth is obvious, picturing flashy cars, designer clothes, and expensive vacations splashed all over social media. But the truth is, real wealth is usually invisible and quiet. In fact, the loudest people in the room are almost never the wealthiest people in the room. The people who are actually getting rich often don't feel rich at all because they're too busy doing the right things, saving, investing, and building to even notice how far they've come. Today, we are going to walk through 10 sneaky, subtle signs that you are quietly getting rich. If you can relate to even a few of these, you are already on a path that most people never find. Let's dive right in. The very first sign you are secretly getting rich is that you have mastered living below your means and become immune to lifestyle inflation. Something strange happens when you start quietly building wealth. Your income goes up, maybe you get a raise or a promotion, but your baseline lifestyle stays roughly the exact same. Most people experience lifestyle creep, meaning the moment they start making more money, they unconsciously drift their spending up to match it. They rent a more expensive apartment or finance a nicer car, and while they might look successful, they actually feel broke. But you don't equate a bigger paycheck with the permission to spend more. You've created a life where your spending is intentional, and every time you resist the impulse to inflate your lifestyle, you widen the gap between your income and your expenses. That growing gap is your wealth engine, and having it means you are quietly building a foundation of financial freedom. Sign number 2 is a big one. You drive a reliable, older car that is completely paid off. The average car payment in America is now an unbelievable $767 per month. While other people are throwing away hundreds of dollars a month on high-end BMWs or Range Rovers that lose value every single day, you know that buying a brand new car is a highly negative return on investment. You understand car depreciation curves, knowing that the worst of the depreciation has already happened. Because of this, secretly wealthy people often drive a comfortable but unremarkable 5 to 10-year-old vehicle, like a Toyota Camry or a Lexus, and they just keep it maintained. By avoiding that hefty monthly payment, you are freeing up thousands of dollars a year that can be invested to compound into real wealth. Moving right into sign number 3, you think in decades, not days, and you've mastered delayed gratification. Most people are constantly chasing instant gratification, looking for the next bonus or the hottest stock tip, but you have shifted your mindset to play a much longer game that rewards patience and consistency. For example, when you want to make a big purchase, you might wait 7 to 30 days before pulling the trigger, just to see if you actually still want the item a month later. You care way more about compound growth than overnight success. There's a famous concept that all the returns in life come from compound interest, and as Warren Buffett has shown, real wealth comes from patiently holding and reinvesting over long periods of time. If you are willing to give up a little bit of what you want right now for a much better financial life later, you are doing what 90% of people simply won't do. Sign number 4 shows a major shift in your daily anxiety. You've built a financial buffer, and you no longer panic over unexpected expenses. I remember when every single unexpected expense felt like a mini heart attack. But when you're quietly getting rich, you build an emergency fund, a cushion of cash that buys you peace of mind and options. You don't panic when your car breaks down. You don't dread the bills at the end of the month. And if your boss called you into a surprise meeting, you wouldn't immediately terrify yourself with the thought of losing your job. Furthermore, you start to become entirely unbothered by small inflation costs. If gas goes up 50 cents a gallon, you don't even scan for the cheapest station within a 10-mile radius. You just fill up and go. Money has stopped feeling like a daily emergency. The 5th sign is that you value your time much more than your money. When you're broke, you have no choice but to trade your time for dollars, hustling and grinding just to get by. But as your finances stabilize, you stop thinking in dollars and start thinking in hours. You realize that your time is your most finite, valuable asset, and you begin using your money to buy back your time. For instance, you might gladly pay someone $150 a month to clean your house. It's not because you're lazy, it's because buying back those 3 hours allows you to spend quality time with your kids, work on a creative project, or simply rest. You start paying for convenience and let go of the urge to waste hours of your life just to save a few pennies. Sign number 6 is all about how you communicate. You avoid the 3 E's, and you're frankly getting bored of talking about money. The 3 E's stand for earn, expensive, and excess. You never boast about how much money you make. You don't broadcast your latest expensive purchases on Instagram, and you don't live a life of flashy excess. When you're struggling financially, money is the main character in your life. Every decision from buying lunch to filling up your gas tank feels like a massive mental debate. But as you build real wealth, your finances run on autopilot. You have automated your savings and investments so well that money simply becomes background noise. You no longer need the validation of flexing to other people, because secretly you already know you have the money and nothing left to prove. This naturally leads us to sign number 7. You've completely stopped comparing yourself to others. There's a toxic financial trap called keeping up with the Joneses, where people constantly measure their success against their friends, neighbors, or social media highlight reels. When you are quietly getting rich, you stop caring entirely about what other people are doing with their money. If a friend finances a $60,000 truck at 7% interest, you don't feel a hint of envy. You know your paid-off used car and your growing investment portfolio are the much smarter play. You realize that most visible wealth is just funded by massive amounts of debt, so you build your life according to your own timeline and values, making you completely immune to peer pressure and FOMO. Sign number 8 is a fundamental shift in how you measure success. You track your net worth instead of just your income. When most people start working, their biggest concern is their paycheck, how much they make per hour or year. But eventually, you realize that a high income alone does not build wealth. Assets do. You stop obsessing over the exact dollar amount in your checking account and instead focus on the bigger picture, how much you own versus how much you owe. You stop seeing money as a goal itself and instead view it purely as a tool to unlock freedom, peace of mind, and options for your future. Sign number 9 is the ultimate stealth wealth move. You have found a way to make money while you sleep. Warren Buffett famously said, "If you don't find a way to make money while you sleep, you will work until you die." At a certain point on your wealth-building journey, you stop exclusively trading your time for a paycheck and start putting your money to work for you. Whether you're buying index funds, investing in dividend-paying stocks, owning a rental property, or running a side business that generates passive income, you are actively participating in true wealth building. Even if it's just a small trickle of passive income right now, the fact that your assets are generating cash while you're not physically working means you are well on your way to serious wealth. Finally, sign number 10 is the financial choices that used to feel like sacrifices don't feel like sacrifices anymore, and you are genuinely excited about your future. Early on in your financial journey, packing your own lunch or deciding to stay home on a Friday night might have given you massive FOMO. You might have felt like you were missing out on the fun just to save a few bucks. But over time, your identity shifts. Now, skipping the crowded bar to have a quiet night in or maxing out your Roth IRA instead of buying designer clothes feels like the obvious preferred choice. It doesn't feel like you're locking your money away. It feels like you are funding a better life. And because your money is quietly stacking up and working for you, the future no longer feels scary. You have a plan, you have discipline, and you know things are only going to get better. So, there you have it. 10 quiet signs that you are secretly getting rich. I want you to head down to the comments right now and let me know, how many of these 10 signs can you personally relate to? If you hit 5 or more, congratulations, you are well on your way to financial freedom. If this video helped you see your finances a little bit differently today, please hit that like button so it can reach someone else who needs to hear it. Make sure to subscribe to the channel for more content on building real wealth. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.